Well, I want to put out this video for a little bit of food for thought. I know, the royals in Britain are about the only ones you really know about today that are really strong. The royal family in the UK. And I know there's been alleged stories about they're actually the Rothschilds are controlled by the Rothschilds. It may be true. It may be true. I don't know. I mean, I'm just not going to really throw this out here as some really earth-shattering information because when I was searching my own lineage, I started coming up with this information, and I says, well, if one thing leads to another, another thing leads to another, actually, even I would be descended from a Rothschild, Nathan Lionel Rothschild himself. So that kind of makes sense with a lot of other things too, because I've been kind of wondering about what the hell the deal. I'll explain it a little bit more in detail, but anyway, you always know this expression. Now, I'm going to tell you something straight up before I even get into all this stuff, because I know a lot of people are into conspiracy theories and left and right, and conspiracy theories aren't theories. You know, there's reality behind the scenes, and anytime even you have business partners get together, they don't blab to the whole public what their business plan is because they'll get competition. I mean, are you stupid? If you freaking put all your work into something and you go ahead and you come up, you got a few people, you gather a few people. I mean, whether even you're running an auto body shop and you say, we're going to do this, we're going to make custom hot rod cars, and this is how we're going to make it profitable, and we're going to do this. You don't go blab around to everybody what your business plan is. So you're colluding in business. And since you're not telling people and it's for profit, you can term that a conspiracy. So, I mean, they throw that word around a little too much sometimes. Anything where people get together in business, it's private relations, and it could be said to be conspiratorial. I mean, I'm not gonna overemphasize one thing one way or play drama on this video, and I'm not going to make it into something that is, not food for thought either. So let me just get on to some of the more commonly known things first. So Nathan Rothschild says, I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. Now, it also says with, the mother, it says, if my sons did not want war, there would be none. Now, I don't know if that's too harsh or what, because let me put it to you this way. Human nature being what it is, you walk into bars, there's barroom brawls over nothing, right? Especially when people drink. There's fights over, I don't like this, I don't like that, over symbolism, over whatever music you're playing, whatever clothes you're wearing, whatever accent you might have, so I mean, you really can't pin the whole world's problems on one group of people, okay? But then again, I'm going to examine this also from another way. Now, I was looking into my family lineage, and I came up with that, the Duke, and he was a Duke back then, because this was when he was in his younger days, in his early 20s, actually. He would have fathered my great-grandfather. And I can't really prove this, but I dotted the I's and crossed the T's as much as possible. But, some of the information I'm also taking as gospel, too, came from my uncle's uncle, who would have been the son of the illegitimate Duke. In other words, that would have been his grandfather. He was a CPA in New York City, of good standing. He had a very good business. Unfortunately, he didn't live very long because he worked himself to death. He lived to be in his late 50s. But back in the 1930s, when he was telling my uncle for a school project what his lineage was, he says it goes back to a Duke. So my uncle had to do that for a school project. He actually became a CPA in New York, actually, later with his own business in Manhattan. He was getting information from his uncle, his uncle was actually the son of the illegitimate son of the Duke. Well, he had actually documentation, and there's absolutely one possibility, period, when you're searching the peerage of England during the time, and it's probably very likely because I know Edward had, well, even though he doesn't acknowledge him, I think he acknowledged one or two or something, maybe, I don't know, maybe, actually Winston Churchill and Bill Clinton's all involved in this, the president and stuff, and, they got some kind of lineage and stuff. So he would have been, he's it. I mean, even though I don't have a piece of paper saying that, like other things, I have a piece of paper on my father's side where I actually have paper documents documenting the Sons of the Revolution, 3 of them, Silas and whatever. There's a whole bunch of them, right? But Captain Sparks, he was another one. So anyway, the thing is, I went and I saw I'm researching, Edwards, and I'm researching a family. So I came up with this other thing. There was Prince Albert was married to, and this is how the Rothschilds are probably, and this does make a lot of sense, why there's monetary power in the UK, in the monarchy itself. Prince Albert, and I'll tell you, this is rumor mongering, or you could say whatever the hell it is. I mean, I don't know this for a fact. Now, like, I could say fairly certainty that Edward is the father of my great-grandfather, right? But now, I don't know exactly who the father of Edward is. By the, the book, the official documents or whatever not the documents, but what the story is told, Prince Albert is the father. But they said he was gay, and actually it was Nathan Lionel Rothschild that was the father, which would make me a direct descendant of Nathan Lionel Rothschild, which would have also been my uncle who was in New York and CPA, and I don't know, thinking about all the business connections these people had, and I was like thinking to myself, yeah, it's kind of like freaking making more sense now. But anyway, but when you look up Prince Albert, you always see this Prince Albert jewelry. This was actually the thing that went through the penis, and he wore it around the waist. I mean, that's the freaking rumor. I mean, I don't know. How the hell you prove that? I don't know. But they said that Prince Albert was gay. He did not. He was married to Queen Victoria. Prince Albert, I think, died in 1861. He didn't live that long. But then again, I don't know if, these are, how many stories there are about royalty that are true and that aren't true? I mean, I'm going to get on with Vladimir Putin here in a second, but if you ever read about the 12 Caesars written by Suetonius, Suetonius was an author that wrote about the first 12 Caesars of Rome. Julius Caesar, Caius Octavius Augustus, and Tiberius and Caligula, and then they had I don't know when he went up to. I think maybe 69, 70 A.D. when they had the year of the four emperors, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian. So, and I'm doing this right from the shooting from the hip, or I'm not reading from a cue card, okay? So, I think those are the right names. Yeah, they are right names. But, the stories that are around, Suetonius would write about Nero, he was doing this and doing that. There's probably truth to a lot of things, but then again, you don't know how true they are, So, I mean, the story about Prince Albert being gay, I don't know if that's true. And then if they say Nathan Rothschild is the father of, Edward and all the siblings of Queen Victoria. But, the only way that angle really makes sense, well, first, the jewelry is named Prince Albert for that's supposedly what he wore for the penile jewelry. And number two is, it's kind of interesting that the British monarchy is the only ones that got loads of money and power, unlike other monarchies. But I'm going to tell you, there's other things that are going on in Italy. They got a lot more power, but it's hidden. You know, you don't shoot your mouth off about shit too much, you know. So I'm not shooting my mouth off about shit too much here, but I was always speculating a little bit on Vladimir Putin, though. Just like my great-grandfather, that name started with, now that's not my name or nothing, but it's related to me. It's his name started with that was made up specifically because he was the illegitimate son of a duke. And there's no other name like that. But there is some names out there with that name, people with that name, and I know they're not aware of what I'm saying here, but I'm not going to say what it is. But Vladimir Putin is another one that has a name that just starts with, it starts with his father and maybe his grandfather, and that's it. There are no other Putins in Russia ever, period. Which makes me think, he might be connected to a Rothschild also. I don't know. I mean, it's pure speculation on my part. He might be. I know a lot of times people say, no, he's fighting the Rothschilds, and come on, man. I mean, I don't even dislike this guy. I know I put some anti-Putin videos out here, but I don't even know if I don't know. But there's rumors that he likes the little boys and shit. But it may be true. I don't know. He kissed one of them on the tummy one time in public. But then there's rumors about the royal family. They're into that too, right? So I don't know. But then if that's true, that would all kind of make sense. Maybe he's all connected with him, and it's a big ruse that the East versus West. Because I can tell you, the East versus West Cold War was a big ruse. It was basically to serve the military-industrial complex as, Eisenhower warned, when on his farewell speech that nobody was paying attention to at the time. Then he started paying attention to it years later. Actually, I drop a few dimes on this on my videos, and I drop dimes about $1 trillion+ deal. It's like, don't get no views. Nobody's man, freaking it's out there, man. And I mean, if I talk about the Rothschilds, it's like, oh, the Rothschilds. But maybe it's true. But then again, like I said, the Rothschilds formulate wars. You say, yeah, okay, they formulate wars. But then again, I mean, how many times do you see family squabbles between just family, your own family, friends, associates, at a traffic stop over a minor fender bender? Arguments when you're playing sports. It does not mean the Rothschilds are the freaking center of all evil in the world. You know what I mean? Use a little common sense, because if the Rothschilds went to another planet, human race is still screwed up. Got it? You got it? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Now, I also want to say something else. There's a lot of disinformation with these alternative media conspiracy clowns. And I'm not going to tell you that the conspiracies don't exist, but I want to tell you, like Alex Jones, he doesn't really touch this subject too much. That's one. He kind of tells you blithely bullshit, but then he doesn't tell you a lot of stuff. This Luke Rudkowski, I always just wonder how he got interviews with one of the Rothschilds, and then he'd come out and he'd go, how come you freaking started the wars, and doesn't your family do this? And I'm like, if I asked the Rothschilds something, you know what I would ask them? You had your son, or whatever the hell it was, going on that plastic boat with the sailboat. It cost him like $1 gazillion. I mean, what about pushing hemp again as in a material that's renewable, that'll clean up the earth, clean up this air, and all this kind of stuff? And I would have just asked him that. I mean, I wouldn't freaking try to insult the guy with. But when he's doing this, Luke Rudkowski with We Are Change, I realize I think anything with the buzzword change is something that is a scam. In other words, they're getting you to freaking focus in on them, that they're fighting the power, and they're not. They're all in with it. I mean, the opposition's all controlled from the top. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing with the royal family, at least they present a nice image. Whether, whatever's, if the rumors of Suetonius are true or what, I'm saying that. I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and probably a lot of it's true. But I'll tell you one thing. If this lady, by some freaking bad fluke, gets to be president of the USA, I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, I mean, this lady makes me cringe. I mean, you know, there's things they can even say about, you know, Queen Elizabeth or something that, I don't know, it's made up stories too. I mean, I don't know. They say she's not really like exactly the right lineage or something. My mom has probably got about as almost lineages as her, you know. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you something else. This is another thing that kind of made me think, because I was telling my mother about a lot of these information I was getting, and actually I probably came up with more information than even my great grandfather would have known, which is crazy because, you know, you're thinking, you know, these people aren't alive today. How are you going to find this? You know, well, I found out. You know, hey, you know, I've always been noticed noted as a freaking laser sharp accountant, man. I mean, when I get involved in something, I go around the clock. I mean, I'll be up to, you know, I'll fall asleep from like 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, and 10 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. Wake up in the wee hours of the morning. I don't know. I get the pineal gland is freaking focused. I don't know what the hell the deal is. You know, maybe it's the blue moon. I'm just kidding, you know. But anyway, I find stuff. I do. It seems like I get a laser vision, and I've done things where I've made people a lot of money too. You know, I have. But they're assholes, you know, so I don't want to work for them anymore. But the thing is, you know, she told me a story that her grandfather used to, and, you know, he looked English. You know, he was the only guy that was in the Italian family that looked English. So, I mean, that was another thing. You know, if you're illegitimate son of a duke or something and you're England and everybody in your family looks English, how do you really know, right? But he looked English all the way, the whole 9 yards. His facial features, he used to wear the top hat and every other damn thing. But he looked it all the way, appearance-wise, height-wise, the whole thing. But he used to have her and her cousin, he used to say, well, play a game. Play a game like you're in the royal palace and Princess Margaret and Princess Elizabeth, because Elizabeth II was princess at the time. She wasn't Queen Elizabeth, are your cousins, and, you know, play like you're in a palace. And he used to have them do that. And I'm thinking to myself, she told me this story later on. I just knew about this yesterday, actually. And I was like, oh, boy, because now I'm thinking he did know shit. He did know stuff, you know what I mean? And I think he probably got, I think he got hush money because he bought a lot of property in Bay of New Jersey, an entire block. But I'm going to tell you this. If this lady, Hillary Clinton, gets in office, you know, we talking about freaking breaking away the United States, and I'm going to tell you, you really can't do that. You really can't do that. You know, you say, and I wouldn't want to break away from the United States, you know, the United States. But if Hillary Clinton gets in office, I would propose that we have it like this. This would be the land of Dixie. We break away, and we become subjects of the British Crown. You're not going to freaking get independent. I mean, you can't get that far. I mean, Texas is not going to say, I'm going to be Texas. Florida's not going to say, I'm going to be Florida. Georgia's going to say, or we're all going to be Dixie. We're not going to survive. But Hillary Clinton disgusts me so damn much. This lady is like, I don't know why the elite are backing her. I hope they aren't, because they're going to freaking have like, they're going to wind up like King Louis XIV or some shit, you know? But this lady is so abhorrent for the United States. I mean, her husband, I wouldn't give a shit if he ran as VP again. I mean, he's not really great, but in some ways, but he's not evil like the way she is and Chelsea. But I would rather have, you know, and I look at Hillary Clinton and I look at the royals. I mean, despite, you know, whatever goes on that's maybe rumor or true or whatever, they present 100 times better image than her. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I'd rather see the United States break away. I mean, I'm talking about the South. Because, you know, you can't freaking break away and just, you know, break away. You're going to have to be part of something else. I'd actually say the South ought to freaking just rise up again. And this time we'll just ally ourselves with the British Empire. And we keep our freaking Bill of Rights and especially our Second Amendment. That's one thing we ain't giving up, man. So anyway, but we will support the crown. Because I'm going to tell you, man, I'm getting kind of disgusted with the way some of this shit's going. It's almost like I'm thinking about the corruption that went on with the British monarchies and all the rumors and the crap that's going on today. It's almost making the monarchs look right that the people are too stupid to elect the right leaders, and they need to be led around by the nose by freaking monarchy. You know, it's almost proving them freaking right. You know that? Really. And you know, if the people elect this lady, hang it up, man. I'm going with Dixie breaks away as the Confederacy, and we become part of the UK. Screw it. I don't give a shit if they're Rothschilds or not. It's fine by me, man. I don't care. Because, you know, the one question I would ask Nathan Rothschild himself, and I'm suspicious, I'm going to tell you, I'm suspicious that Putin's is connected with all the Rothschilds. I know everybody's saying, oh, he's against the Rothschilds. I don't think so, man. This guy owns Russia. And, you know, I don't hate him. I'm just freaking frustrated with people that don't see what the hell's going on. And I'm not, like, trying to really be against what's going on all the way or not. But I'm saying is, don't go worshiping this guy like he's a god of your freaking life. You know, he's going to fix everything for you. He's, you know, I mean, I don't know what the hell he's about, man. He's something. I don't know what he is. But, you know, I look at it like this. You know, you can't freaking go against a steam engine, you know, locomotive, and by yourself. You got to ally yourself with something. And, you know, if the U.S. actually does have you know, because I'm thinking to myself, you know, Hillary gets in, there's going to be like a freaking revolution, man. I swear to God. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't want to go with independent. You know, the only way to stay strong is you got to have an alliance. I don't know what it would be, but I would think, you know, there ought to be the Confederate States of America as a republic under the British monarchy, and we still keep our freaking damn Bill of Rights all the way. And you never know, that might be a better deal than what we got today. And I think it would be a better deal than what we'd have with Hillary. But, you know, that's the way I'm thinking, man. And I know a lot of people thinking, well, that's not perfect. Well, you know what? The world ain't perfect. You can't get everything at once. That's the way it goes. But, yeah, Nathan Rothschild probably, I don't know if that's a true, you know, that might be true. He might have actually fathered the sons of, that might have been his, you know, Edward's father. The 6 children of Victoria might have been from Nathan. I don't know. I say to myself, Prince Albert, and they got the Prince Albert penis jewelry, and supposedly that was the thing he wore, and he was gay, and he didn't father any children, and I was saying, well, I don't know, maybe it's a Suetonius story, you know, maybe it's not true, but then again, maybe it is true, because, you know, how the hell did monarchy stay in financial power so long? Oh yeah, I also want to tell you that, you know, in Italy, there's still a lot of powerful families that control stuff, you know, and you will not see stories on them in the limelight. Actually, powerful families that go all the way back to Venice. You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. As a matter of fact, you know, a lot of people talk about when Omar Gaddafi got ousted out of power in Libya. They say, well, the British moved in there, or the Americans moved up in there. No, actually, it was mainly the Italian oil companies moved in there, and the French. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what happened. That's what happened. So, anyway, you know, you kind of have to deal, but, you know, but I'm looking at, you know, I'm almost looking at, if Hillary gets elected, I'm going to say, the United States is a failed experiment, man. We're going to have to go back to the monarchy. I mean, as far as Dixie goes, man, I mean, you're not going to be Dixie can't break away from the Union. You know, I mean, that's already been proven. You know, part of the reason was we didn't have the backing of the UK. But if we get the backing of the UK, maybe. Why not, right? Why not? Because the way things are going, it looks like Britain's going to get frozen over with the next mini ice age, and so is the north of the USA. But the South, they're going to be growing all the crops. And you want to talk about what's going to be gold in the freaking future, like the British got the gold and all that, the monarchy. Food is going to be the gold, man. Food is going to be the gold. And I think the South is going to be the new breadbasket of the USA, not the Central USA. It's going to probably get, Central USA is probably going to be getting too much frost. Gold is going to be food. So, anyway, food for thought anyway. So, we'll just have instead of having a Union Jack, we'll be an independent republic, but part of the British monarchy. Hey, that's one way. I mean, you're not going to be able to break away. And the other thing is you don't want to break away and make a weak section that can be exploited by Russia or some other power. You want to be, in with what the USA has always traditionally been about. And, what the USA has always traditionally been about is, I guess, Britain. What the hell, right? British. Anyway, so it does look like, in summary, that the Rothschilds are not just controlling the money supply in Britain, but there's more Rothschild blood in the monarchy probably than there is original royal blood. Which, actually, that makes me part Rothschild, which made my uncle and my uncle his uncle, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I mean, I can go on a lot of stories about this. Actually, in my uncle's business up in Manhattan in the Chrysler Building and also on Broadway, the firm, it wasn't like, it was a pretty, he used to call Price Waterhouse poor workers. Nice slight ego on his part. But his wife's mother was from France, Paris. She used to be the head of the waiters and the maitresses and all that stuff in these two big clubs that were exclusive clubs. One was on, I think it was Musquanicut, Connecticut. That was in the summer. And then Jupiter Island, which in Florida in the winter, and actually pulled a lot of clients from there. But he had a lot of connections, and and I'm starting to thinking about all the other stuff. I'm saying to myself, this is really starting to come together now, and I'm kind of wondering how the hell I freaking just ran into people sometimes just by weird intuition, and I'm thinking to myself, now I know why my head is probably more in tune with people that are extremely aggressive, independent business people. I don't get mad at them. I know other people do, but I don't get mad at them. I don't know. And I'm beginning to wonder why. Maybe I just got that gene in me somewhere. And, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because, wars are not started by the elite as people think, because if you look at all these violent personal conflicts that happen all over the place, you'll see them all over posted all over YouTube. It's human nature. If the elite were gone, the human race would still be screwed up. And the way I'm looking at it is, if the human race is so stupid to elect Hillary Clinton, I think we ought to go back to the elite. I'm serious, man. I'm serious.